Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. A Freeland man is facing charges after state police say he attempted to interfere with a traffic stop. According to officials, the incident took place on Friday, April 12th, around 6 p.m., when a trooper conducted a lawful traffic stop on West Broad Street in Hazleton. During the traffic stop, troopers say Mario Castro, who was not involved, approached the vehicle and began to interfere. Officials say Castro was instructed to move to a different location but failed to comply. Castro faces charges of obstructing administration of law, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct in connection with the incident. Wilkes-Barre Township Police are attempting to identify the individuals shown on screen. According to police, the 3 individuals assaulted a handicapped senior citizen on March 30th. The incident took place in the Wilkes-Barre Township Walmart parking lot around 8 p.m. When a bystander came to the senior citizen's defense, officers say the suspects assaulted the bystander as well before fleeing the scene in a gray Nissan Pathfinder. Anyone with information regarding the identity of the suspects is asked to contact the Wilkes-Barre Township Police at 570-208-4635, extension 436. Pennsylvania State Police are continuing to search for a missing confidential informant. According to State Police, Danielle Drozdowski of Wilkes-Barre was scheduled to testify as a confidential informant on August of 2014. At the time of her disappearance in March of 2014, State Police say Drozdowski was 25 years old and living in the area of Cary Avenue and Susquehanna Street in Wilkes-Barre. Drozdowski would now be 35 years old, and she has been listed in the National Missing and Unidentified Person System. Anyone with information regarding the case is asked to contact the Pennsylvania State Police in Wilkes-Barre at 570-821-4110. The Wilkes-Barre City Police Department is asking the public for help in identifying the individual shown on screen. According to police, the individual is wanted in connection with a theft that occurred at Dunay Jewelers on March 26th. Anyone with information regarding the theft or the identity of the suspect is asked to contact the Wilkes-Barre City Police at 570-208-6695. Coming up on WYLN News, Diamond Fire Company announces an upcoming bingo fundraiser. Plus, a unique film experience comes to Penn State Hazleton. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Lorelai, and I'm 7 years old, and tomorrow is going great.
Weather Kids is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton. Your health deserves a partner.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information. WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network. When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@WYLNTV.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to WYLN News. The Hazleton City Police Department has announced that they will be setting up flowers at Pasco Park. In a Facebook post, the police department said the flowers will be set up from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on April 27th for students to take prom photos. A photographer will not be provided, so students will be asked to bring their own cell phone or camera to take the pictures. Diamond Fire Company in Hazleton is hosting a bingo fundraiser on Sunday. The event will begin at 1 p.m. at Good Shepherd Church in Drums and will feature 20 games, specials, tricky trays, and food. Prizes include gift cards, cash, and purses. Tickets are $20 in advance and $25 at the door. To purchase tickets in advance, you can call John Nillis at 570-459-2595. A unique film experience is coming to Penn State Hazleton. On Thursday, April 18th, filmmaker and Texas Christian University Professor Suki John will visit the university and show a screening of her dance film about the Holocaust. During the film, John tells the story of her mother, who was deported to a concentration camp and lived as a refugee before eventually becoming a U.S. citizen. The event is free and open to the public. The screening will be held in room 115 of the Evelyn Graham Academic Building at 1:30 p.m. Coming up on Sugarloaf's News Choice, Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history with Ashland Part 3. Plus, we learn about seasonal allergies on Wellness Wednesday. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Tune in and see all the unique places to stay and things to do in the Pocono Mountains. Watch PTN on WYLN.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Are you looking for a trustworthy publishing company to publish your book? One that understands the process and upholds Christian values in its business practices?
Introducing Covenant Books, an author-friendly publisher who shares your beliefs and wants to publish your story. Call us today to get a free author packet to help get you started.
We realize your book is unique, personal, and written with a higher purpose. That's the content we're looking for.
We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process with professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the industry.
Covenant distributes and sells your book online and in bookstores everywhere. We convert your book in ebook format and sell it on Amazon, Apple iTunes, and to these distributors. Our authors love us.
So if you've written a biography, a devotional, a memoir, self-help, or any genre, we can help. Be like these authors and get your book published and sold today.
Call right now for your free writer's guide.
1-800-215-3680.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update, posted daily between noon and 2 p.m., powered by Lehigh Valley Health Network. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, tune in. I promised you in the past we would tell you more about our laser. The laser can do things that chiropractic and medicine cannot, so tune in this week.
last decade of the 19th century, America was hit by the Panic of 1893, triggered in part when silver and railroad bubbles that had been building across the nation burst. Its effects would last through 1897, and in Pennsylvania, unemployment would ultimately reach 25% during the worst stretches. In the Ashland area, this would be acutely felt when the Philadelphia and Reading Railroad filed for bankruptcy and numerous mines closed. Left with no other choices, Ashlanders spread across the nation and state to look for better opportunities. By 1900, the town had lost roughly 2,500 residents. Many of them, however, remembered their days in the coal region well and pined to return someday. And a seed was planted in 1900 when several former residents of the town met at a state convention in Shamokin. Remembering the good times they had in Ashland in their younger years, they thought it would be a good idea to give former Ashland residents a reason to come back home. They subsequently formed the Ashland Boys Association, open to any former resident of the town regardless of ethnicity or social standing. Beginning in the next few years, and continuing for decades to come, members of the ABA would return home to Ashland the Saturday before Labor Day for a grand celebration. In 1910, another facet of this homecoming was added, courtesy of the ABA's Philadelphia branch. When they arrived in town that year, they were greeted by an impromptu parade, including such participants as the local American Hose Company, Centralia Band, Knights of the Golden Eagle, and Washington Light Infantry. From this grand greeting grew the tradition of a mummers parade through town on the Saturday before Labor Day, which continued for many years even after the Ashland Boys Association's 1976 disbandment. Later, during the Great Depression, the ABA gave back to Ashland with a grand monument. The group's motto was, "Come on home," and for many members, home reminded them strongly of their mothers. Thus, at the group's 1933 reunion, it was proposed to build a memorial to honor all the town's mothers. Despite some members arguing for the ABA to give money for a library, instead the monument won out. $6,000 was raised by the organization for the monument, which ultimately be designed by Emil Seaburn and sculptor Julius Loester. For their inspiration, the artists used James McNeill Whistler's painting and arrangement in gray and black No. 1, popularly known as Whistler's Mother. Works Progress Administration funding gave the stonework for the statue, which was dedicated on September 4, 1938 during the annual Labor Day festivities. Today, the Mother's Memorial still stands downtown, continuing its mission to honor mothers both in Ashland and around the world for all they do for their children. In the meantime, trolley lines reached into Ashland at the turn of the 20th century, as they did across much of the nation. The Schuylkill Traction Company in 1889 built a trolley line that stretched from Ashland to Monomoy City, with stops along the way in Girardville and Gilberton. Many trolley lines at the time would build an amusement park or picnic grove at the end of the line to entice riders to take a full trip. In Ashland, this led to the opening of Woodland Park in 1892. The park featured an open-air theater, dance hall, and skating rink, and proved quite popular for a time as a weekend getaway for area residents. Silent movies would be shown frequently at the park's theater, and vaudeville shows and local bands would also perform there. The end of trolley service in 1929, with buses replacing the Schuylkill Traction Company's trolleys, would also spell the end of Woodland Park. It was this time, however, that another amusement complex rose to take its place. Harvey and Alice Beery had purchased land from Harvey's parents for farming around the beginning of the century. Buckhorn Creek flowed through the property, and it occurred to the Beerys that it could be dammed to make an impressive lake. In 1920, the family did so, and 3 years later, with the lake fully formed, the summer resort known as Beery's Grove opened to the public. For $4 admission, guests could swim in the Beery's Lake, as well as go boating, or fishing, or ice skating in the winter. Cabins sprang up along the lake as well. A dance hall and band shell would also appear at the lake, as did amusements such as a carousel, a shooting gallery, and a train ride. A horse riding academy would also grace the property, and ice harvesting would take place in the lake over the winters. The Beerys sold the property in 1957, and the owners changed the name to Mountain Valley Lake. Increased competition from nearby Knoebels Amusement Resort would lead to the lake's closure in 1974. After a decade trying to sell it, it was repurchased and repackaged as a private housing development, today known as the Moon Lake Association. Breweries had taken root throughout the Anthracite region in the late 1800s. Although Ashland would be comparatively late getting into the local beer game, it would be the home of the Schuylkill Home Brewing Company beginning in 1911. The brewery's name would be changed in 1915 to its more familiar title of the Ashland Brewing Company. Prohibition shut the brewery down in 1920. It would reopen in 1934, selling brands such as ABC Porter and Schuylkill Heim Beer before closing for good in 1940.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
Attention, WYLN viewers. WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network. Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information. Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
Hello, I'm WYLN historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
Here with Dr. Dan Benyo. We are at LVPG Internal and Geriatric Medicine in Brookhill, and this is Wellness Wednesday. On today's segment, we're going to talk about seasonal allergies, and I'm sure everyone that's watching has some experience, but we're going to get a little more information from our expert, Dr. Benyo. So let's talk about seasonal allergies. First of all, is it age-related? Can anyone get seasonal allergies?
Typically, anyone can get seasonal allergies. They're very common. We start to see them pop up, along the springtime. That's after suffering from indoor allergies, after the winter time. And they can be very debilitating for individuals. But generally starting at younger ages and then even up to the geriatric ages, we start to kind of even see newer allergies forming.
So, of course, cold season never really goes away. So how do you know if you have allergies, true allergies, or are they just cold or something else?
Yeah, so that can be a little challenging, especially in the world of COVID or kind of getting out of COVID, so to speak. A lot of times with the seasonal allergies, some individuals are great kind of teachers themselves. They tell us, this is usually how my allergies present. Can be with clear sinus drainage, itchy eyes, worsening rashes, maybe feeling a little bit fatigued or tired, a cough that's happening at night because of this postnasal drip. And so that can be differentiated from the cold of maybe a more colorish, productive cough or sinus drainage. Sometimes we see fevers, of course, as we get into viral infections. But sometimes they can cross the line. We don't typically see a lot of rashes with viruses, but you can get a viral exanthem that can kind of confuse the picture. But a lot of times, just a real good history will give us the information.
And is it true that sometimes you develop them maybe later in life, or does it come and go? I mean, once you get them, do you always have them, or does that change throughout your lifetime?
Certainly, depending on where you've lived before, your prior exposure before, some people will see who are coming up from out of state, who have moved to the area, and then all of a sudden their allergies are starting to worsen. Pennsylvania is significant for very severe allergies in the U.S. So we do see commonly people living here, even their allergies progress and get worse just being from here. But then certainly as people coming from out of state, we start to see them not being used to the normal allergens around us. And so they start to experience worsening allergies. And some people can develop worsening allergies just local to the area.
So how do we kind of lessen those symptoms? I know there's medications, but is there anything we can do without initially just taking some kind of medication to kind of bring it down?
You're not a med gal, I guess, huh? So a lot of times we say conservative management's great. So try not sleeping with the windows open at night in the bedroom. Try not sleeping with pets or animals in the bed or bedroom. Certainly vacuuming the carpet frequently, sweeping the hard floors, changing bedding frequently, using an air purifier in your room. A lot of times, if you're going outside and you know you have allergies to grass, pollen, and that sort of stuff, then maybe wearing a mask if you notice your neighbor's cutting grass, or if you have to cut grass, wearing a mask, that can help reduce the amount of pollen or allergen coming in. And a lot of times just nasal rinses, that's not even prescription-based, just flushing out that allergen can help.
All right, I've done all that, and it still has a hold on me. Let's get into what we can take medically.
So there's a lot of medications out there. There's a significant amount over the counter as well. So we talk about antihistamines, Claritin, Allegra, Zizal. I would always consult with your doctor regarding initiating a new medication, even if it's over the counter. Some of these have stimulants in them, so it can increase heart rate, increase blood pressure, may be contraindicated with your chronic medical conditions. Some of them, like Benadryl, have a sedating effect, can cause urinary retention, constipation, dizziness. So antihistamines are one. Intranasal steroids will help decrease the inflammation after you rinse it out with water. Then there's medications like Singulair or Montelukast that attack a different receptor with the allergen. And then certainly if it progresses, we sometimes do allergy shots or allergy testing, then allergy shots. Sometimes we even have to use steroids, and sometimes the allergies are very persistent, debilitating. We have to see an allergy specialist, and sometimes they do these special shots.
So yeah, that's something I would highly suggest you go to your doctor first, especially when all of that comes into play, and if you're on other medications, you do not want to take any chances of any reactions. Anything else our audience needs to know about these seasonal allergies? And how long does it usually last? Does it go into the summer, or is it, when does it wane a little bit? When we get relief?
Certainly, people have their flare-ups during different seasons. Some will see it in the spring, some will see it just in the fall. A lot of times we'll see even exacerbation of other conditions. So while the allergen has kind of died down a little bit, we're starting to see maybe their asthma's worse now or their COPD's worse. And so we're kind of treating those conditions, which are kind of fallback or blowback from the allergies. So some people get resolution after a couple of weeks, and some suffer through the whole year. And so it can be a real challenge.
Well, thank you for all that information. Those of you who have suffered for years, of course, you probably know what to do, but those of you who have just started, there's great information right here. I'm Lisa Marie, and thank you for watching Wellness Wednesday.
You're watching WYLN TV 35,